3 guys in Kerr County who were responsible for sounding the alarm were effectively unavailable. Am I hearing that right?
What alarm are you talking about, ma'am?
Well, you said at 3:30, after 3:27, when what's the crossing called?
Schumacher Crossing?
When Schumacher Crossing's not possible, and at 3:30, when there's a call coming in that people are on their roof, you wrote down that's time for all hands on deck.
Correct.
But you didn't wake up till 4:20. The judge is in Lake Travis, and the emergency manager is sick.
Correct, ma'am. At that time, my people were out there doing the job. You know, I got the call at 4:20, but they were doing their job, notifying people and rescuing people.
But you, to your point, this was a weather event nobody had ever seen. It was moving fast, and 50 minutes sure seems like a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
So if we could do it better, because we cannot go back in time and save these children, but knowing now what you know, is there a protocol that needs to be put in place that if the 3 folks who are responsible at this moment are not available for whatever reason, what should we do?
Yes, ma'am. We can look at that real hard. You know what I mean? Best thing I can tell you, I got the call at 4:20. Prior to the 4:20, that 50 minutes earlier than that, our people were out there. Our dispatch was calling additional people out. Yes, I can look at maybe they could call me earlier.
But no code red was issued, correct?
No, there was a code red issued, I believe it, to look about 5:01. But there was additional weather alerts being put out that whole time.
But who issues the code red?
Our dispatch issues it.
Under whose authority?
Anyone who tells them that they have supervisor approval.
And who is the supervisor?
The supervisor on that night was Sergeant Merritt.
So are you saying that there was a code red that was issued at 4:22?
No, that's when it was requested.
When was it issued?
5:01. Let me explain that to y'all up here. What happened at that time, I gave you the numbers. These people, they were overwhelmed, okay? These dispatchers were with phone calls, radio transmissions, trying to type. They did a great job. The code red went out at 5:01. But in addition to that, there was other life-saving measures that were going on.
I was down here last week. You have a beautiful part of Texas. You have a community that has rallied. I have seen folks from all over this nation that has come in after the fact. It is our responsibility to look at, is there ability to better predict? Is there ability for better preparedness and for better prevention? My questions are purposely intended to figure out, now that you have the gift of hindsight in 2020, because Wimberley was 2015. Allison in Houston, of a slow-moving storm that didn't move, I experienced. Harvey didn't move, I experienced. Unfortunately, y'all have now experienced something you are saying, I have never heard of or seen this before. We've experienced it in other parts of Texas. And if we can't take advantage of this moment right now for the rest of Texas to recognize, you may not think it's going to happen to you, but it's going to happen. And if we're not prepared for the extreme weather, the system that stalls, then we're not taking advantage of this moment. So the question is, you said at 3:30, when people were having to get off the roofs, that's the moment for all hands on deck. And I'm trying to figure out, is there an existing system that could have gone out to people in floodwaters way to reach higher ground, or are you missing that system?
No, we do have a code red system that something can be put out. Yes, ma'am.
But for whatever reason, in this moment, there was nobody to properly sound the alarm. Is that what I'm hearing?
They did not send the code red. No, ma'am.
I say this with a heavy heart because none of us want to point fingers. But I was kind of in the middle of it on day one. And since day one, I've been to a number of the funerals. I went to the church and spoke to the families and gave the families my cell number a few days later and said, call me. I've gotten to know these people, and I think I have to make this point on behalf of them. Judge Kelly, I never saw you on day one. I came here from Austin. In this room, I talked to the sheriff multiple times, Sheriff. I talked to the mayor multiple times. We had a meeting when we got here. Governor Youngkin was here. I was here. The mayor was here. Everyone was here.
Then I wasn't. Then I wasn't.
And you were not. You were not. And I asked the question, where's the county judge? I have covered multiple emergencies in my 10 years as lieutenant governor. This is about as bad of a day as you can have, and I've had a lot of bad days. Because we didn't just lose people, we didn't know where people were. And you weren't here. I asked where you were for the press conference that night. You weren't here. Governor Youngkin and myself and the sheriff, you remember the sheriff, very laborious, I can't say the word, a lot of labor intensive, went down the list of every camp, of the 15 camps, to find out who was accountable and who was counted for. And the only camp, and you know this, Mayor, you were there with us, we went down that list and we found that every camp had accounted for everyone except Mystic. You weren't in that meeting. I don't know where you were on day one on July 4th, but you should have been here. You should have been here directing that response. That's your responsibility. And Charles Swartner asked you the question. I want to set the record straight. I'm not pointing a finger. I'm not blaming you. I just want to set the record straight. Everyone was here that day working their ass off, and you were nowhere to be found.